Welcome to the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast, where business owners, thought leaders, and community champions from across Central Illinois come to share their story. The Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast. Anything less would be uncivilized.
What's up, Central Illinois? I'm Derek Hayden. I am your host of the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast, powered by Zambu. Zambu is a delicious grapefruit or wildberry vodka-based spirit infused with a Brazilian buzz button. It's smooth, tasty, and leaves you with a signature tingle. Learn more at zambuliquors.com. Zambu, taste the tingle. All right, Central Illinois, today's guest is a partner and CEO of Smart Owl Coffee in Springfield, Illinois. Ladies and gents of Central Illinois, please welcome Faith Valenti. How are you doing, Faith?
Good. How are you?
Doing very well. So I'm a big coffee fan. As a matter of fact, right before we started recording, I was telling Faith that I just brewed a cup of coffee. Unfortunately, it is not Smart Owl coffee, but I'm going to have to give it a taste. I'm going to have to figure out how to get some Smart Owl coffee here soon. So, but anyway, before we do that, Faith, before we get to know you, I'm going to take you through our speed round questions to get to know you a little bit better if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Faith, what was the first concert you ever attended?
The first big concert, David Bowie with 9 Inch Nails.
I like it. Awesome. What is your favorite movie?
Princess Bride was always my favorite.
Okay. I feel like that's been a popular one here the past 4 or 5 episodes.
It's on Netflix. We just watched it with the kids.
Oh, nice. There you go. What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Rocky Road.
Okay. Favorite social media platform?
I kind of like Instagram because I'm a visual person.
Cool. Are you an iPhone or Android user?
iPhone all the way.
I like it. And last but not least, why Central Illinois?
I was born and raised here and stuck around. Really.
I like it. Well, hey, that's a common story. That's my story. No, that was good. That's a similar story to a lot of people we have on the show, and it's my story as well. But it's just hard to leave sometimes. So, yeah. Oh yeah, awesome. Well, Faith, at this point, what we'd like to do is hand you the mic, and if you could tell us your story, your background, you can take us back as far as you'd like, bring us up to speed with what you're doing today, and you can share anything in between that you want to share.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot of freedom. So I'm Faith, and my husband, his brother and sister-in-law started a business called Smart Owl Coffee about 2.5 years ago. We had been discussing coffee and doing this business for many years before we started. Of course, it was 2020, right during the pandemic, that we decided to launch. That was kind of
course, nice.
Worked out okay for us, but
good.
So my husband's a doctor, his brother and sister-in-law are doctors here in Springfield, and we do a lot of art. We talk about science articles, and we listen to a lot of health and wellness podcasts. My husband, obviously, when he was in school, it was very challenging, and he had learned about a compound called L-theanine that he learned that when you drink it with coffee, the theanine helps to counter some of the unwanted effects of coffee, namely jitters and crash. And it also helped to boost mental clarity and focus. Yeah. So he was in school studying for tests. Of course, this was a good fit, but really, when he told me about it years later, I was thinking, well, who's drinking coffee that doesn't want mental clarity and, doesn't want to have to deal with the jitters and crash. So he learned about it then. And then fast forward about 10 years, I have 3 small children. We're exhausted. Sleep is not in abundance. And so I'm relying heavily on my cup of coffee to get me through the day. It's not quite cutting it. I mean, I did a lot of things like missing appointments. I think I flooded the bathtub 3 different times. So we're talking like all the way from the top level to the basement.
Oh no.
The bathtub. So he said, hey, why don't you try some theanine in your coffee and see if it helps with that brain fog? And so I went ahead with it. We take a lot of different vitamins and supplements, so I trusted him. I was worried about the taste, but it didn't really have a flavor at all. So he would open up a capsule and put it right in my coffee because I don't love swallowing pills. So I drank it for a while. I didn't immediately feel super smart, but I did kind of stop doing some of the things that I had been doing. And when I really was able to appreciate the difference that the L-theanine made was when I went back to work and I drank some Folgers that they had sitting on the pot.
Mm-hmm.
And not only was not only was the mental clarity not as abundant, I would say the jitters and crash was terrible. Like I felt really anxious and I felt like I wasn't focused at all. My brain was kind of scattering everywhere. And I used to drink Folgers every day before, so it was kind of an eye-opening thing for me to realize that, hey, I think a lot of people are just dealing with these things, and they don't realize that they don't have to. So it was kind of my idea to, why don't we bag this and try to sell it, because I think other people would appreciate it. So that's how it started.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So in his medical experience, that's how he found, and it's called L-theanine. Am I pronouncing that?
Yep.
Okay.
Theanine, and it's actually very well studied. So he discovered it. He was in college. We're talking 15 years ago, going through optometry school, and he showed me the article. He showed it to his brother. We like to kind of go through different articles and talk about them while we go for morning walks. That's kind of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are actually tons of articles we discovered that support the combination of theanine and caffeine, and double-blind placebo studies, good science, quality science. And that's something that we really like to do, is comb through kind of garbage science and data that doesn't really mean anything. So we were impressed with the amount of information that we found supporting the theanine and caffeine combo to provide users a better performance when they are given mental tasks. So for example, answer these 5 questions as fast as you can, spell these words as fast as you can. Here's 10 numbers. How many do you remember? So memory recall, lots of different mentally taxing tests. They perform better given the combo versus theanine or caffeine alone. So, so he discovered it, and then we kind of dove down the rabbit hole of the science. And I have a background in biology, and I worked in a research lab for a little while, and then I worked in vet medicine for 25 years. So I have some medicine background. It's animal, but there's a parallel there with people that I think creates a good foundation.
Absolutely. Well, you have my attention because I personally am a coffee drinker, and I just do the Folgers. I wake up in the morning and I brew my own pot of coffee. And then I'm not kidding you, it's almost like clockwork. At about 9 to 9:30 every morning, I feel like I need a nap. It's just like the crash, but at the same time, I enjoy my coffee in the morning and I don't want to take that away. So this sounds like something that could kind of solve that problem for me.
Yeah. So do you want me to go into some science just a little bit?
Just a little bit. Have at it. I'm engaged in science. I like it. Hopefully our listeners do too, but I want to hear it.
I won't go too deep.
Okay.
So coffee works. There's caffeine in coffee actually works in your brain on something called adenosine receptors. So when you drink coffee, the adenosine receptors, the caffeine binds to that, blocking something called adenosine. Adenosine is something that builds up in your body throughout the day as you perform different tasks, and it's a signal as it builds up saying, hey, you're tired, you should go to sleep. Okay. So throughout the day, your body builds up adenosine. And when you wake up in the morning, there's still a little bit of residual adenosine circulating, but usually your body kind of resets after you sleep. The coffee in the morning helps to get you past that little bump of adenosine that you still have left over. So it gets you past that. That's why you feel so alert. So that's great, right? But on the downside, caffeine is a stimulant. So it overstimulates some other pathways in your brain that make you anxious, jittery. It spikes your blood pressure, which then when it falls, you feel crash, and then you want more coffee. So it's kind of great, but it also has these things that we don't love that aren't necessarily good for us. Theanine works in a way that parallels and counters just only the unwanted pathways of caffeine, which is kind of cool. So it allows the adenosine blocker to do its trick. So you're staying alert, but the pathways that are affected, that are overstimulated by the caffeine, are actually calmed by the theanine. So
wow.
So there's this kind of balancing act that the theanine allows the caffeine to keep you alert, but it kind of blocks that whole crash and wave. So it gives you a smoother coffee ride that lasts longer. So you shouldn't have to drink as much of it.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
That is so cool.
Our
So
website has a lot more science too, people
awesome.
that like to go down that hole.
And what is your website, since we're on the topic?
smartowlcoffee.com.
I'm going there now so I can.
So we have an ingredients page that has the science that supports the different supplements. So theanine, I should mention, we have theanine in all of our coffees.
Okay.
So our sampler pack we have 5 different coffees that are our primary blends. They all have L-theanine in them. But then we decided that we didn't want to just stop there. We kind of envisioned Smart Owl Coffee as giving the same functionality that you can get out of tea. And theanine is actually a green tea extract. That's how it was discovered.
Okay.
Studied the components of tea and said, hey, why does tea give you like a calmer, more mellow energy? It has caffeine in it, but not as much. So a lot of people can't replace their coffee with tea. It's just not enough caffeine. So by adding that theanine into the coffee, you're getting that kind of mellow energy that's more focused.
Yeah. Excellent. So as far on the business side, kind of like producing the coffee, I guess I should say, and don't feel like you have to give away any secrets. If you feel like, that's too much of a secret, just let me know and I'll move on to the next question. But do you make this coffee on site, or do you have a third party that blends this together with the L-theanine with the coffee?
Yeah, so when we first started doing that, we came up with the different blends, the 5 different blends, immune, balance, digest. So we really designed the supplement part of it. And then we sought out a USDA organic roaster to partner with.
Okay.
After doing some research about what is it like it's an art. Coffee roasting is not something you can just buy some equipment and learn how to do. It's an art.
Sure.
And while we do see that potentially being something that we could handle down the road, really, we first just wanted to see, hey, is this an idea, a concept, and a product that people respond to? And if so, then we can go down that path. But we really love the roaster that we have partnered with has allowed us to select specialty beans from small farms. We're USDA organic certified through them, non-GMO, low acid, mold free. We check all the boxes that we really wanted to when we sought out a coffee roaster, and we thought, what do we want our brand to be? Well, we want it to be clean and healthy.
Yeah.
Really. And we want the coffee to act as a clean and healthy vector. People, 50% of Americans drink coffee. It's the second most consumed liquid besides water. So if you're going to drink something every day, we really just felt like it has to taste good.
Sure.
It has to be clean coffee. And so we really are happy with that. Then we put together the supplement panels using also sourcing that is non-GMO, mold-free, third-party tested. So all of that quality was certainly in the top of our forefront of our mind throughout this whole process. So we do outsource for supplements. Obviously, we're not making our own health supplements. We are not roasting our own beans. We partnered with someone to do that for us.
Very cool. So have you been on some of these products like through a patent process or anything like that, or through we
had to go through patenting, which my husband did most of that. So the 4 partners, we've all kind of had our own little thing that we contributed to. Mine has been primarily running the website, fulfilling orders. I do all of the design work for all of the artwork and the bags and boxes and marketing stuff. None of us have any marketing background, so we're all science people. And so that's been our biggest challenge, I think, is learning the marketing part.
That's very cool, though. That's cool that you got a team where each person kind of has their own little job behind the scenes that you're experts in. So that's
Yeah.
very
Yeah, but it was a
cool.
process getting the patent and then, getting the insurance because we are insured as a supplement company.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just there's so many steps that you don't anticipate when you set out to start a business, and you just take it one step at a time, and then all of a sudden, 2.5 years in, you've got, hopefully you've got a
Yeah.
really good product that you're proud of, that's got a package that you feel like is suitable, and you get your message down, and then I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens
That's
from here.
very cool. That's very cool. So I'm looking again, just looking at the website, and you have multiple types of blends. Like you
Yeah.
mentioned in your sample pack, you've got an immune blend, you have a recharge blend, a cognition blend. So does each blend have its own kind of components that help with certain body functions, it sounds like?
Yeah,
Cool.
so that they are each designed to perform different kind of tasks in the body. So immune blend is pretty self-explanatory. We've
Mhm.
got ingredients, L-lysine, zinc, theanine, vitamin D, um, elderberry, blood orange for the vitamin C's, things to help boost your immune system.
Cool.
Balance blend is for mood management. So I said I had 3 small children, right? So
So
sometimes
that's
I
your
get
favorite?
well, no, it is sometimes.
I like
I
it.
do like to start my day off actually though with either the cognition or recharge because those two have a higher caffeine content. So they really kind of kickstart the morning. The recharge is uh, a medium roast that has some additional things for detoxification and kind of replenishing. So it's good for pre or post workout. I mean, it's good for everybody. Everybody has toxins. We all come into contact with them.
Mhm.
So flushing out toxins is important, and then replenishing with vitamin B12 and antioxidants are present in that blend as well. So we joke that it's a really good hangover cure. But it's just a good tasting coffee that's good for starting your day. And
Yeah.
then I switched to the immune or the balance blend because they're a medium caffeine.
Mhm.
Balance blend has got a slight vanilla flavor, organic vanilla in there. So
Very
yeah,
nice.
I'd say it's probably one of my favorites.
That's so cool. So it looks like the way that I can go and purchase Smart Owl coffee is you have a brick and mortar, it says. So what is your location in Springfield?
Yeah, so we wholesale the coffee to
Okay,
different retail locations, and our
perfect.
website has a brick and mortar section so that you can see which retail locations you can pick up a bag. We have sample sets, 12-ounce bags, and then I haven't mentioned yet, we have a new product line that we launched called the Smart Alchemy Drops, which I can mention a little bit more about in a minute. But
Sure.
you can go to any of those brick and mortar stores and pick up Smart Owl coffee. We're
Awesome.
working this year, and for our next couple years, we're really trying to focus on learning more about the wholesale aspect. So getting into more bigger groceries, but we're at Harvest Market, Hy-Vee, Bun Gourmet. There's about 25 different central Illinois businesses that carry
Mhm.
our coffee. Small boutique
Cool.
as well as big grocery. And then our website, you can order directly on our website as well.
Excellent. That's cool. So the website again is smartowlcoffee.com. And you mentioned right before, as we're kind of getting into that, where you can find your coffee, you mentioned the Smart Alchemy. There's a little play on that on words there, folks.
Yeah.
Alchemy.
Yeah, Smart Alchemy. So
Yeah.
we thought about people that might like to grind their own beans. We had a lot of people asking because all of our supplement infused blends are pre-ground.
Okay.
And they're medium, so you would brew them just like you would any regular coffee. I should mention that we have third-party verification that the supplements do are water soluble, they are heat stable, and they move through the coffee into your cup, and we have third-party verification of that. We're very proud of the amount of quality control that we have put in.
Excellent.
But the red drops answer the question, well, what if somebody wants to grind their own beans? Or what if somebody really likes custom cup beans and they want to keep supporting a local roaster and they want to still get some added health benefits in their cup? These drops are specifically flavored to go well with coffee and tea. You just take a dropper full right into your cup 1 to 3 times a day, and this will give you some extra health benefits. Now, our vision for this line is that we'll have about 5 or 6 different drops at least. And we started this line with our red drops. So a play off the
Okay.
rainbow.
Okay.
Our red drops are a mushroom complex. So Mushrooms are full of all kinds of different beneficial compounds. There's lots of science about it on our website, but you can just Google mushroom benefits and you'll find tons of coffees and teas using powders ground up. And we learned in our research that a liquid is actually a better way to preserve and make those compounds more bioavailable or easily absorbed by your body. So using a vegetable glycerin base, we don't have any alcohol, so that bitter, gross taste that you get with liquid tinctures is not there. It's a subtle, sweet kind of taste that goes really well with coffee and tea.
Perfect.
You're getting beta glucans, terpenoids, all these different things that help with immune health, brain health, antioxidant and adaptogenic compounds in these 6 medicinal mushrooms that are in this dropper.
Very cool. So I have a question about the wholesale side of it.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of business owners listening that either have a product that they're considering trying to, distribute to wholesalers or something like that, and don't know really where to start. Are you able to share much about that process of how do you go about finding, places to sell your coffee?
Yeah, I'm happy to share anything. Yes, that was a big question for us. Like I said, none of us have a background in grocery distribution marketing. So
Sure.
we started out just calling businesses that were local and saying, hey, we have this product. Would you like us to come and sample it with your customers and see if they respond well? Since we started during the pandemic, it was very hard to kind of tap into, there were no farmers markets that we could sample the coffee at. But we just reached out to local smaller boutique stores first. And so coffee shops, friends, family, people in our community that we thought, hey, maybe they would give us a shot. And we got into a interurban merchant coffee house in
Cool.
Williamsville. I don't know. Then we just grew from there. Salted Lemon, Bun Gourmet, smaller boutique shops that had either a grocery aspect to them that would fit with us, but we're even in clothing boutique stores. Farmersville has a home decor boutique and they sell our coffee. So coffee is kind of a thing where it's shelf stable. You can kind of put it on the shelf anywhere and everyone drinks coffee almost. So
Yeah.
and what's been great is it's been moving well in every location that we have placed it.
Awesome.
Which has been a great testament. But then once we got out of COVID and we were able to start sampling the coffees, I think the best way that we were able to get our name out there and meet people and network with businesses to place the coffee was through farmers markets.
Cool.
And so we were selective about doing different. We didn't just do one, we did like 6 or 7 different regional farmers markets to get feedback and also to ask from the customer base, where do you think that this would be a good fit? Oh, you like the coffee? Is there any place around here that you think we would be a good fit? And we would take a sampler over and say, hey, is the manager around? And, I typed up a welcome letter that said, here's who we are, about us. Here's our price list. We're flexible. We don't require any minimum order amount. If you want to just try a few bags to see how it goes, that's fine with us. We're flexible. Obviously, as we've gotten a little bit bigger, that's it's tedious to do deliveries for 4 or 5 bags. So we decided to change it to have a minimum quantity, and that will probably change as we grow. We joined a platform called Range Me, which is something I highly recommend to anybody trying to get their bearings in wholesale. There's a lot of great resources there.
Cool.
You can either do the free program or you can do the paid program, which just gets you better placement. You have to have barcodes if you want to get into bigger groceries. You have to have insurance. You have to put the work in to make sure that you have your product shelf ready for bigger groceries. And we have had success in the bigger groceries that we've been in so far. But we're
Very
still
cool.
pretty new. I mean, we're not even 3 years old yet.
That's awesome.
We have so much more to learn.
Hey, that's perfect. That's part of the business life is continuing learning. So, the one thing listeners out there, people watching on YouTube, whichever way, the one thing, if you were to rewind it probably 3 to 4 minutes of what Faith started with when she started talking about finding wholesalers. Faith, you said we didn't know where to start. We just started calling people.
Yes.
So that is pretty much the theme of almost every guest we've had on talking about their business.
Yes.
Not everybody knows how to start. They don't really know. They just kind of make it up as they go. They try something, they take action. Take action and expect to learn. Don't expect to win on the first phone call, but you're going to learn. People are willing to share with you. Not everybody's going to just slam the phone down saying we're not interested. People will help you along the way. You just have to take action. So I think that sounds like, Faith, you align with a lot of probably our listeners and guests that we have on the show. They have an idea. They don't know where to start. They just take action.
It was a lot of work. We called a lot of places, and probably maybe half of them I actually spoke to someone and was able to send a sampler, and then only half of them actually then followed up with me, and it was a lot of follow up on our end. The Range Me platform is something we just started a few months ago, and so you're supposed to be able to have a better connection with bigger wholesalers. So
okay,
maybe we can come back on and talk about that after we have a year of that under our belt.
Yeah.
But so far, we've learned a lot about terminology and just things that we didn't know about as far as freight shipping. I don't know, just lots of kind of.
Oh, I bet.
Not that exciting to talk about, but it's all comes with it.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, you mentioned that no one really had an expertise in marketing when you got started. It looks like you've done a good job of at least getting your product out there and teaching people about it. So what has been one of your bigger successes when it comes to marketing? What do you feel has been one of the keys to your marketing success as you grow?
Yeah, a lot of growing pains along with this question. We started out just with a Facebook page and an online store. And we did the farmers markets, I think, was very critical in getting product feedback and us knowing this is a product we started out and we bought a bunch of coffee. We bought a bunch of it. We thought, well, worst case scenario, we have a lifetime supply of coffee. And now we're strong, now it's like, oh, we just have to keep increasing the minimum amount that we're kind of assuming we need to have on hand. So we do distribution out of Springfield here.
Okay.
So the marketing part, we use a lot of social media. I did a lot of giveaways. So
Awesome.
I would partner with other small businesses that I felt had a like-minded, appeal, and I would put together baskets and I would say, hey, if you share this post, we'll put your name in for, and then I had a little application that I could put everyone's names in or their code word, their key names, whatever, their emails. And then I would push the button and I would do it on a live so that people could see the little wheel turning and it would pick a name. I did something called community crates, which was around Christmas time. I got together, I put together 12 boxes of local products. It had like 12 different businesses in it, or like 6 different businesses. And I put those together and then I said, hey, this week we're going to award 3 boxes to teachers. So tag a teacher that you want to win, and then we'll select a winner. So you're not winning yourself. You're selecting someone else to receive something around Christmas. That was really fun.
That's cool.
And I got a lot of play interaction. I think helped us get our name out in the community. We did invest in becoming parts of some local organizations. Illinois Local has been really helpful to us for networking with other small businesses to come up with good partnerships. I think partnering properly is helpful. Giving things away to get your name out there is kind of, you have to be able to give, if you don't have a big budget, which we didn't for marketing, you have to be able to give your time or your product away.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of that.
That's very cool. Well, you mentioned as you kind of started on talking about marketing, your online store. Do you control your own online store? Like, is it through Shopify, or do you have a different third party that you use for that?
We use Shopify, and
cool.
When I said there were growing pains, a lot of it's just learning all the different technologies. So we had a Facebook account that we hired someone to help us with Facebook optimization and trying to get our place ads on Facebook. We were like, let's put some ads on Facebook and see what happens. We can learn more about our demographic. There's something called a pixel, which I didn't know about, that collects information and helps you learn about who's clicking on your page and stuff like that. So we were about 2 months into that whole thing, and then our page just got shut down. So our ad account, it's been very tricky, and we're still that we're still trying to figure it out. And Facebook's an enigma. So
Yeah.
we decided, let's not put all of our eggs in one basket. Let's just move on through it. And that's when we started focusing more on retail and wholesale.
Mhm.
And we do have, though, probably about half of our revenue is from direct sales
Okay.
through subscriptions. We have,
Cool.
I do an email newsletter twice a month. We collect emails from people whenever we do markets. We have a little
Mhm.
wheel they can spin, and they have to sign up their email to spin it, and they get a prize. I mean, there's lots of
Cool.
different
Oh
things.
yeah.
We put on an event recently. We're putting on an event recently that is a open to the public, free in interaction with. We have a nature preserve bringing an owl and some other animals to talk about wildlife preservation, which
Mhm.
is something that we feel strongly about and love
Okay.
animals. So offering that free to the public. So click here to register. So you can collect people's emails, and then you send them out an email and say, hey, we're having some discussion about coffee and acidity this week if you want to learn more about it while you sip your coffee. So we're providing information to people that we think is important, that
Mhm.
hopefully they will value, and then also saying, and here's a 10% off code. So it's not just
Yes.
here's a sale, we're blasting you with a sale. We want to make sure people find value in the information that we're providing in our email, so they don't just stick us in the,
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
it's a lot of work to come up with the content though. I mean,
Sure.
it's
I
a lot,
bet
it's time consuming. So it's
it
fun.
is.
It's a lot of work.
Yes. Well, content wise, that makes me think about, let's see, 2 or 3 Mondays ago. Well, as we are talking here, when this airs, it'll probably be 2 months ago. But we interviewed Brian Myers, who's from Effingham. He owns a real estate agency, and he gave us a quick 10-minute or so tidbit of how to identify topic opportunities for video and marketing. So that was a cool, if anybody has questions about how to identify topics for content, he shared one really cool tip of how he comes up with ideas for his real estate agency, how he does videos and content marketing, that type of stuff. So you have to go back and check that one out with him.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm always struggling to come up with fun new ideas. I have downloaded several different apps, and I make all of our little reels and
oh
videos
yeah.
and bits.
Oh,
So
cool. That's great. Now we're getting close to the 30-minute mark, but I do have a question, or I guess a tidbit on Shopify. I have a lot of newer business owners through the podcast, and even through my regular day job as an insurance salesperson, insurance producer. That sounds lame. I try to spice it up usually, but I sell insurance to business owners. And a lot of people will ask me questions about, how do they get started online? How do they do this? How they market their product through a website? Who should they hire? And not that they shouldn't hire someone local or a marketing firm to do a website. I personally, I've researched Shopify a little bit, and for what you're getting, I don't know exactly what the price is, but from what I understand, it's like $20 to $40 a month for Shopify.
to
And
start,
okay,
yeah.
so it seems like it's pretty well built out for you, and you kind of have control over what goes up there and what products and uploads that you want to put in. It gives you a platform to run your business, and you don't have to worry about setting up the website. You can upload your products and all that type of stuff. So
Yes, we
I've
don't have
recommended.
no code.
Okay. Yes.
They have preset options you can choose as far as like how you want it to appear, and
Uh-huh.
then it's pretty self-explanatory. You upload your product, here's your description, blah blah blah. And if you need
Yeah.
help, their support has always been very very nice, and I appreciate Shopify for their support. You do run into, if you want to specialize, they have something where you can add on apps. So
Okay.
right now we're running maybe 10 different apps, an
Okay.
email program. For our subscriptions, we had to download an app, so you have additional costs with each of those.
Okay.
So it's not, it's totally a great platform because you have the freedom of doing as much or as little as you want, and you
Mhm.
can pick and choose what you're paying for. I do appreciate that. So you get your base
Yeah.
program, $20-$30. That might suit you. If you
Mhm.
want to offer a subscription, there's 15 different options that have their own ratings. So you can see right on the platform, other customers have rated these apps and said, this one's good, this one's not. So you have
Cool.
play there. And then
Yeah.
those apps offer their own private support. So it becomes daunting sometimes, but I don't know that there's a better way to do it, honestly.
Cool. Yeah.
Because you have so much flexibility.
Awesome. Well, if y'all have had any questions about how to sell your product online, check out Shopify.
Yeah, definitely.
And not that a local business or local marketer can't help you set up your own website, but for all the product, if you got a lot of products that you're trying to sell online, I think, in my opinion, especially as a new business, it would be very tough to run that whole website on your own and even have someone tell someone how to do it because they're not familiar with your product. I feel like Shopify fixes that easily for you.
Oh yeah. I'm on Shopify every day tweaking things.
Cool.
So if I had to hire a person and call them and say, hey, can you change the text on this? Or we're going to do a sale. Can you adjust the price?
Mm-hmm.
And I have worked for another business where we had an external person do it, and they did it was a beautiful site, but it was challenging to make any changes. And so you have total control over any time you want to make a change, you can.
Cool.
So that's lovely. Yeah. Shopify has been great.
Excellent. Well, Faith, before we wrap up here, if our listeners are wanting to get some Smart Owl coffee, we already talked about the website, kind of where they can go to as far as brick and mortar stores go. Any other information, if they want to contact you or learn more about Smart Owl Coffee, where can they find you at?
Yeah, so we are on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We have a contact us page directly on our website. We have email. We have our phone number listed. We're on Google. We're trying to cover all the bases. So if you have any questions at all, we love to talk shop, and we love to provide support to our customers if they have any questions. Usually you're going to get directly to me, so I'll be the one answering any questions that you have about which blend do you recommend, does this coffee have something in it that I should consider, just all the different questions that you might have I can help with.
Awesome. That sounds great. And for all you listeners out there, make sure you're subscribing to the CIBL podcast on your favorite podcast platform. While you're there, please leave us a review. It'd be greatly appreciated. You can also find us on social media, mainly Facebook and LinkedIn, and you can connect with us there personally as well. Until next time, Faith, you've officially been civilized. Thanks for coming on the show.
Lovely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/CIBL Podcast. You can also follow us on LinkedIn. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It's the civilized thing to do.